there's nothing like cracking that cellophane and pulling that record out. It just smells great.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Unlike any other.
With your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father.
Man, this stuff rocks.
All right. This is Jeff Rhodes from Them Damn Kings, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews, and today I want to welcome Jeff Rhodes. He is the lead guitarist and vocalist of Them Damn Kings, Jersey City, New Jersey hard rock metal band. Them Damn Kings have released the official music video for their debut single, Throw It Away, self-directed and produced by multi-talented frontman Jeff Rhodes. Throw It Away is off their upcoming album, Rise Up. The band features former Lacuna Coil drummer Ryan Blake Foden as well. So, Jeff, how's it going? And welcome to the show, man.
Hey, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem whatsoever. I'll get you on here and talk about this upcoming album. So, how stoked are you about this?
Man, we couldn't be more happier. Finally, it's coming out. We had everything ready to go about 10 days before the pandemic hit here, and well, we all know what's happened there with the whole music industry, so it's nice to get the ball finally moving on this.
What have you been up to during the pandemic other than talking and promoting the upcoming album Rise Up, man? What's been going on? Have you discovered something that you actually like to do?
Oh, keeping the old out of work bartenders employed here. I mean, there's definitely been a little bit more drinking than there should be, I suppose. But it's given me a good amount of time to sit back and just kind of relearn how to play again, really. I mean, I've always been, kind of the same way throughout my life playing style. But, it's really given me, I'm playing like 13, 14 hours a day again. Which is great. I feel like a little kid skipping school, just sitting there playing my guitar. But it's definitely given me a chance to, listen to a lot of new music that's coming out and kind of, reconnect with some of the old roots and just sit back and learn different things on my guitar instead of kind of just staying with the same straightforward, Jeff Rhodes approach.
You're a front of house engineer and backline tech who has covered over 2 decades of international touring experience with such bands like Opeth, Cradle of Filth, Highly Suspect, Lacuna Coil, and I hope I pronounced this right, Waitan, Mayhem, and others. What led you to go from that to wanting to put out an album? And were you a little nervous about this project at all?
I started out playing in bands. I never expected to actually ever become a sound guy. I was running the whole New Jersey, New York circuit, playing in, different bands, way back when. And a friend of mine was one of the clubs we played at. A friend of mine who was the audio guy there decided he kind of wanted to get out of everything. And, I ended up he had a little PA in the club, and I bought the rig, and it came with the clientele. So, I just started doing that to make a little bit extra coin, every now and again. And then I realized I can rent this stuff out and make some more money with it. So I started doing, pulling the gear out of the club and doing other shows. And then, one thing leads to another. And, a band had asked me to go out and do their audio, out on a small little tour. I did that. And then one thing leads to another, and I ended up with Cradle of Filth. And then one thing leads to another, and, 20 years have gone by, and I'm like, man, whatever happened to playing? So one of the tours I had done, there was this band King that was on the tour, and I don't I hate to say it, you know, there's I don't really get, there's a lot of new stuff coming out. There is, and I don't really get that excited about it. You know, there's a couple things out there that I get super excited, but to me, it's just, you know, it's always the same thing kind of over and over again. And we were touring with this band King, and these guys, day one, they blew me away. I remember sitting down in the dressing room, and I heard this band upstairs. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I went running up and just watched the whole show side stage, and every night I watched that show every single night. And one day we were the guys in King were just kind of jamming backstage, and they had an extra guitar, and I sat down and kind of just got with them and started jamming again, and they just completely 100% inspired me to, you know, get back to my roots and start playing again. So after that tour, I came back home and went right into the studio, made the EP, and yeah, I didn't really expect nothing from it. I just kind of wanted to make some music, play it, put it out there, see what it got, and you know, it got some pretty good response, and you know, that led to you know, management deal, and now we got some great guys behind us, and that's led to this new album. And hey, I'm a little nervous about it, of course, you know, but nervous in a good way. You know, it's kind of like living my childhood dream all over again, you know.
Now you're talking about King, the band King, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, KYNG from California.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you mentioned that band because they are fresh, they are raw, and I think they are so underrated right now. This band has been out for a while. Don't get us wrong, but folks, I'm telling you, give this band a chance because they do not put on a bad show and they do not have a bad song out there. And that's just in my opinion. I'm not saying that, you know, just because Jeff's on here, but I've liked King ever since I heard them. They are ferocious.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody. You know, it's crazy to me how you know, I guess underrated is the right word for it, because you know, you go and you see these guys live and just, it doesn't matter who you are, they just captivate you. They're so amazing live, man. And you know, they're just a three-piece, and they kill it. It's straight up rock and roll, you know. There's no BS with those guys, just like us, man. I think that's what hit me so hard about them. It's like there's no computers stopping the show, there's no backing tracks breaking down. It's just, you know, it's just Pepe, Tony, and Eddie just out there doing their thing, man, and they win them over every time. The guys are incredible and super awesome people. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. And the best part about Tony, Pepe, and Eddie is like, you would never know that they were in a band if you met them out in a bar. Seriously, you would just think they're regular Joes. Honestly, it's, you know, they're great guys to hang out with, man. I had so much fun with those guys, man. Yeah,
a ton of fun. Just every night is something different with those guys, man. Right up my alley.
Eddie is absolutely fucking hilarious, dude. Oh my god.
He gets rolling constantly, man. There's never a dull moment that comes out of that dude's mouth. It's incredible. It's like, just, you want Laugh Factory, it's Eddie.
It's like, don't the batteries, like, you know, when's the battery life go down? And he's like, he fuck the Energizer Bunny. He can kick its ass. He's gone. So, you know.
Oh man, it's 24/7.
Yeah.
24/7. Well, you'll be just about asleep, and it's like, what the hell did he just say? Hey man, that's awesome. You know, guys, he's amazing. They're all great.
Now, with this pandemic going on, Jeff, though, were you guys a little nervous releasing this album right now, especially with how things are?
Well, you know, it was supposed to come out this year. Again, we got the album back for mastering about 10 days before this country and the whole world just kind of went into lockdown. So, you know, we had a plan to get everything out there, and it just all fell apart. You know, the videos we were supposed to shoot, obviously we couldn't get on an airplane. We couldn't get together. I mean, everybody's kind of spread out all over the place. You know, Ryan's all the way on the other side of the country, and you know, Goji's a little closer, but, you know, still just getting everybody together, you know, it was extremely difficult, and it still hasn't happened. But so we decided that we'd wait till next year to release the album, which will be out the end of April, beginning of May 2021. And don't exactly have a date, but that should be getting announced within the next couple weeks here. But yeah, making the video for Throw It Away was That was crazy, man. That was crazy. Being trying to figure out how to do that in the middle of a pandemic here. You know, we weren't together when we shot the video, so it was a huge challenge to try to make it look like we were together.
What's impressed or even excited you the most about making the album Rise Up, if anything? What sticks out the most for you about it?
I started this whole project kind of started out as a one-man gig. Like I said, I came back and I recorded the EP. I played everything on the EP. Like I sang, I played guitar, I did the bass, I did the drums, and this time kind of moving forward, I really just I'm not a drummer. I'm terrible. I just wanted a real good solid drummer on it, and Ryan was just exiting Lacuna Coil, and I've known him forever, so I called him up and I said, hey man, you want to come out and make a record with me? And he jumped on the next flight out, and what excited me the most was I didn't expect things to I kind of go in with a certain idea on what I want song wise, how I want to kind of approach it, and Ryan just added this whole different kind of flavor to everything that just changed everything for the better. And the title track, Rise Up, we wrote that song together. It started from just a single riff that I did, months ago that I had sent over to him. And I didn't know what to do with it, and when he was out here, he was like, hey man, what about that riff you sent over? And we were listening to it, and he was just like, hey, try this guitar thing like that. And boom, I mean, I think we recorded the song, or we wrote the song in about 5 minutes and did a couple takes, and it unfolded immediately. And I never expected that to happen. So I think that is the most exciting part for me, was just having that kind of extra added flavor to everything, which just changed everything.
Kind of like catching lightning in a bottle, so to speak.
Yeah, man. That's really cool. I can't wait for us all to get in, next time, and just everybody in the same room. I just kind of want to approach it, Led Zeppelin style, where we just hit the record button and see what comes out,
Any tracks standing out more to you than any right now on the album? I know it must change every time you listen to it or you talk about it, but are there any tracks that are sticking out to you possibly, Jeff?
There's a song on there called Good Enough, and that I'm not sure if we're going to do a single for that prior to the album release, but that was the very last minute. That song just kind of happened, and the record was there. Management was happy, I was happy with it, and this song just happened, and it happened immediately. And it's to this day, I every time I listen to it, I just turn the radio up full blast, and I can't believe that song actually happened. It means a lot to me, and it's one of those, even though it's my song and I've listened to it a bajillion times, it still excites me every time I hear it.
Are there any songs that didn't make this album that we can see on an EP or another album down the road from them damn Kings, possibly, man?
This is one of those things where, I don't really go into something, looking like, this is the idea, this is how I want it to be. And nothing's really ever kind of planned out. I like just the songs coming out, and that's the time they happened, and that's when they're going to happen. And, there's really no, I don't want to say, there's really not much of a thought process of like, we need to do a record. It's just kind of, the music comes, if a bunch of songs are written in January, that's January's record. If we write a bunch of songs in May, well, that's May's record. There's don't really like that pre-plan, but we ended up doing about 25 songs all together for this album, and 10 made the record cut. So there's a couple more floating around, and I think there's always the possibility of re-examining those in the future.
Was there a song that you guys are working on that totally ended up sounding different or took a major turn coming into this, that you wanted to go this way, but it ended up a totally different way?
Just about all of them. Yeah, really, I had done kind of a demo-ish kind of thing before Ryan got out here. And I'd say I had about 12 songs that were kind of in the works. And again, when Ryan got out here, it just, everything changed. We ended up writing another 10 songs together. Some of the songs, there was one song in particular that was just, I don't even remember the name of it, but it was just a very, very kind of straightforward 4/4 rock and roll, simple riffs. And I don't know if he messed up or what happened, but he was tracking it, and he did this crazy kind of off-time drum fill in there. And I was like, wait a minute, man, wait a minute. And I went back and I was like, wait, I got to change this guitar. And then, the whole song just kind of went completely different. And I, for one, really, really liked the song. Again, for some reason, I can't remember the title of it, but it just, when I sent over all the songs we did over to management, because they have kind of a hand in what gets put on the record. There were a couple songs that I really, really, really liked that I wanted on the record, but in the end they didn't make it because he's like, no, these are kind of like Japanese B-sides. Like, you'd get back in the 80s and 90s. They're good, but I don't think they fit the record, but we can definitely put them on there as B-sides later on. So, I guess that we'll see what happens with that. But, everything just kind of took a different light when Ryan sat back and started playing, and he had some ideas too. Like, wait a minute, I hear this melody going on in there, just something I'd never heard. I've always been very kind of an AC/DC, just very straightforward kind of thinking and approach to making music. And Ryan just, his tastes are a little bit different than mine. Not in the fact he's not rock and roll, because he's completely rock and roll guy, but he just likes certain, different bands that, I haven't really had a chance to get into too much. And so I think having that different, slightly different style than mine, it just really kind of brings a different, flavor and approach to everything.
I love how, I hear bands talk about their albums. They're like, well, we went in wanting to make a heavy metal album, but this turned out to be this way. And it's just funny how you just let the album make itself, if that makes sense. It's like,
yeah, completely.
It's like it does its own thing.
It's, and that's, I think that's important, and that's, you just really kind of, we're able to put the words, into my mouth that I've been trying to say, where it's like, the next time we make a record, I want everybody here in the studio. Maybe I got some riff ideas. Maybe, Goji's got some ideas, but I really just kind of, let's grab a case of beer and a couple bottles of Jack, man, and just pick up the instruments and just see what comes out, I mean, let's actually write a song, together with no real kind of thought process behind it, let's just see what happens. And, I like that approach. I think that's where, for better lack of words, I think that's kind of where the magic really happens, and I don't think records are really made that way or approached that way anymore. Everybody kind of comes in with their song ideas, and then they work on them till they're, beaten and blue in the face, and, they make a record with a producer and da-da-da-da-da. And, I think just kind of approaching it, very much more straightforward of like, we're just four guys, who like to have a good time and play rock and roll. I want that to be what translates on the next record.
Now, yourself and Ryan, you guys produced this album. Working with him, though, Jeff, did he get that extra push from you on this, man? Because I know you talked about him changing up some of the drum beats to the songs and making them a little bit different. Did he get that extra push out of you on this?
I can't really speak for him on that, but I do know, he had just spent the last 10 years as the drummer in Lacuna Coil, and I'm not really, we've never really talked about it. I'm not sure how much creative freedom he really had with that band, so I'm just kind of speculating with that a little bit, but because I know Marco, does a majority of the writing for Lacuna Coil, and everybody kind of just throws in their 2 cents, but when I asked Ryan to come out, it was just, hey man, here's kind of some of the ideas, and, nothing has to be the way that it is, just, no bars held. I want you to, just come at this with an open mind. And, what I sent him, he got excited about, and he was pretty excited to come out and do it. And, he's still pretty excited about the music and, getting back into the studio and, making more music together. So I don't think I particularly had an influence on, what he brought to the table. He just, like I said, no bars held. He just heard what he heard, and he wasn't afraid to tell me what he heard, or, do what he does. And, so I think it was a lot more natural in that process.
What do you hope everyone takes away, or message you hope they hear while listening to any of Them Damn Kings music in general? Jeff, what do you hope somebody gets from this album, man?
Man, I grew up, listening to Ozzy Osbourne and Guns N' Roses and just all the old, just rock and roll cats, and I think one of the things that's really missing in the music, industry today, or with bands or this and it, is everything is just, it's all polished. It's all kind of overproduced. There aren't a lot of bands that I especially rock and roll bands, that just bring that attitude anymore, where it's just, here's 4 guys and this is what we play and this is what you get, mistakes and everything. And to me, that was rock and roll back in the day. And I think all that is, really miss it. I was at a show not that long ago, and, not going to mention names with the band, but they couldn't play because their playback rig broke down.
Oh, wow.
So they couldn't even play the show. And, people are feeling bad, like, oh, that sucks. We can't say, man, back in the day, we'd be throwing tomatoes at them, man, not cheering them on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not everybody gets a trophy, man. So that, I really hope that, the older generation, can respect what we're doing and kind of remember those times. And, I want the younger generation to, just kind of feel what it used to be like, just mistakes and all, and, the antics that go along with it. We're supposed to be having a good time here, and to me, that's what music was always about, was just, having a great time and rocking and rolling, and none of this BS that's happening with music nowadays, and that's not to say that there aren't some really great bands out there, there are, and I appreciate a lot of them. I just really, I miss the old school mentality. I really just miss that rock and roll,
just as well as I do, if that was to happen back in the 80s, especially if Guns N' Roses or somebody like that would have done it, that'd have been a riot after that.
Man, like, I think about this a lot. You remember Milli Vanilli?
Oh, yeah.
They took the Grammy away from these guys. And I know it's a little bit different than what's happening now, but, it's like, here's Milli Vanilli. You take the Grammy away because they were faking it. Who was the next one? Jessica? Was it Jessica Simpson? And nobody really kind of cared too much after. And now it's just the norm. It's oh, hey, look, our computer system broke down and we can't play. Yay, good for you. Let's give them a Grammy. Man, come on. You're right. If that were to happen back in it, there'd be a riot.
I had seen something the other day, and I don't know how legit this was, because you really can't believe anything you see on social media, but you take it for a grain of salt. But I seen where they had said somebody had owed Milli Vanilli an apology now. And I was like, yeah, you think? Just like you said, man, everything is backtracked now just about.
I remember reading that actually not that long ago. I think that was actually a legitimate thing. I don't remember if it was somebody in a management party or somebody that used to work with them, but I remember I do remember reading that it was basically like, hey man, look at what's going on with music nowadays. You guys really owe Milli Vanilli an apology here.
Yeah, give them back their damn Grammy. I mean, come on, what the hell?
It's tragic. I know, the one guy ended up, ended up offing himself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Sad.
That's it's crazy. It's just, you know, it's not awesome.
No, not at all. How big is social media, podcasts, and live streams during this pandemic for a musician or band at this time? To me, this would be like the quintessential of having a show, pretty much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, I've never really been down with the social media. I don't really post a lot of things, and you know, I get hit over the head with the bat constantly from you know, my manager and the rest of the guys. Like, you got to keep posting stuff, man. Just because, you know, to me, social media to me is kind of what really helped. I don't want to say ruin things, but really change the way this whole industry works. And but now it's all we have. You know, we've got you guys and we've got social media, and you can't go and play shows. You know, how do you reach the people anymore? How do you reach your fans? How do they connect? You know, and even with that, it's you know, kind of frustrating to me because you know, now there's just, you know, like before, but even more so now, I think every band, every artist, everybody's up there just pushing and pushing and pushing, and it's really gone from, you know, here's your 5-minute attention span to 5-second attention span. So, you know, it's just another challenge that, you know, everybody's kind of got to get over, where there's just, you know, there's so much information being thrown at you that, you know, it's difficult to really, you know, instead of it being the flavor of the week, it's the flavor of the second, you know.
Mm-hmm. Are you eventually wanting to take this out on the road?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we're ready to go the second this, you know, the restrictions lift and somebody says we can go play a show. I mean, you know, that's, to me, backing the album, going out there and playing the shows, that's, you know, maybe that's just what I grew up with, because that's what you did. You release a record and you go tour the world for a couple years and put out another record and tour. But, you know, that's the mentality we have, and we just want to get out there and, you know, support this record, playing shows. You know, if I could play every day for the rest of my life out there, I would, you know.
Do you think concerts and festivals will have the same impact as before with attendance, or do you think this has hurt it in the long run? Because I would imagine people would appreciate having shows much more now once all this shit gets done and over with.
You know, I think that the fans, I think that the people, including myself, that want to go see shows, I think we're going to be full force. I think it's going to be, you know, the optimistic part of me says, you know, it's going to be bigger than it was before, and, you know, it's going to be full force. But the, you know, the other part of me where I'm starting to understand the politics behind this a lot more thinks it's going to be it's going to be a shit show for a while, man. Even when shows start happening again, you know, a lot of the smaller venues are starting to disappear now. I know a couple of venues that have they've shut their doors for good. They're gone, and they're never coming back. And you know, that really only kind of leaves room for the mid-size and the larger venues. And, you know, let's face it, bands like me at this particular moment in time, and, you know, those mid-card bands, we can't go out and play arenas and fill theaters. You just can't do that, you know. So I don't know what's going to happen next. And it's too expensive to do that. If you're going to end up, you know, kind of social restricting in these kind of venues, you know, I mean, a theater, you got to put the 1,000 kids in there to, you know, for anybody to have any sort of financial, you know, success that night, or even just break even. I mean, you know, the audio, the lighting that goes into it, the electricity, the bartenders, you know, the whole, you know, mechanics of just putting together a show, it costs a lot of money, you know. And if you're putting, you know, a quarter capacity into these size venues, how is anybody going to survive? You know, I can't see the bands making any money through this. And, you know, there's certain bands that are kind of at that level, you know, that aren't Metallica or Five Finger Death Punch or Alice Cooper or Guns N' Roses, that they can't afford to go out and do this and lose, just hemorrhage money trying to play shows, or they're going to be gone too. So, that's the downfall of what I see happening, but it's really, I think that, if there's 10 million people out there that want to go see a show, and the second a show can happen, there's going to be 10 billion people knocking down the door. However, I don't know what kind of rules and distancing and politics are going to go behind this, and I think it's just going to end up pissing a lot of people off even more, but I'm still going to be thankful for when it starts happening again and we can get out there and play.
I know when you were younger, you had a lot of music, a lot of albums and things to go through, but did you have a album or song when you were younger that affected you as far as giving you inspiration, or just let you escape, man, and let you be free for a while?
That was Ozzy Osbourne, No More Tears. That's really the one that just did it for me. Ozzy's what got me into rock and roll. Like the first time I ever heard Ozzy is I think my hair went from short to long almost overnight, and then in, what was it, like 91, 92, they put out the No More Tears record, and that song, No More Tears, like I still listen to that song, and it brings me exactly right back to that moment in time, hearing it for the first time and what I was doing and where I was. I could even smell, the way the air in the house I was in still smelled, it's just something about that particular song just short circuited my brain and brings me right back to that moment. So, I love listening to that song. If I put that song in, it just brings me right back to that moment in time, which was, it was a great time. I was just learning that, just picking up the guitar, just really coming into myself. And, that's the one for me.
That's awesome. That is so damn cool. His new album is beyond awesome. I mean, it's just really good, and so many people give it so much shit, but you know what, folks? He's doing what he likes, and he's happy with it, so I give Ozzy 1,000 times credit for that. But this new album he's got out is pretty badass, so don't sleep on it, folks. It's good stuff.
And I like that too. I like what you just said, because he's doing what he wants and what he likes to do, and it's the first time in forever he hasn't had Gus G or Zakk Wylde playing on it, which instantaneously the first thing I said when I heard that was like, well, fuck this guy, bring in Zakk Wylde. But then I heard the song on the radio, and I was just like, all right, man, Ozzy's got, this is freaking cool, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as far as I almost at first was like, well, it's kind of missing that, that Ozzy stamp, that with that, the crazy guitar playing, I think he had his producer playing guitar on this one. And I mean, it's in no stretch of the imagination, a guitar virtuoso genius stuff on there, but the songs are awesome, man.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he really hasn't had a record like that since, No More Tears. And, that was the first Ozzy concert I saw, was the No More Tours, which was, 35 tours ago.
Yeah.
Now, every time it's, I'm not touring anymore. Yeah. All right. But, his new record is, and even the video, and it kind of freaked me out a little bit, because I know his health has been really bad lately. And, it almost, I hope it's not one of those premonition things, because you listen to that record and he really just kind of put, the start of his life all the way up until now,
Yeah.
And it kind of freaked me out, because I'm like, dude, we just, like, Eddie Van Halen just passed away. Just don't take Ozzy Osbourne, man,
yeah,
please. Like,
sure.
That would it'd be over, man. So, but I mean, he's kind of like Keith Richards in that sense, man, where it's like, I think, he's a nuclear bomb can go off, and those guys are like cockroaches, man. They just crawl out like, oh, man. So hopefully Ozzy makes it through.
I had a conversation with a good friend of mine, and we were talking about Under the Graveyard, that song by Ozzy, and we were just blown away. We was like, fuck, dude, look how long Ozzy has been in the music scene, and he's still putting out good shit. I mean, it's good.
It's good.
Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, if it doesn't make the hair stand on the back of your neck and on your arms, I've said this so many times, but there's something wrong with you. Something wrong with you.
I mean, what if he had a 50-year-long career going on here? And I mean, from the time he was in Sabbath to the Ozzy, I mean, he's not put out a bad song, you know. There's really, it's just Ozzy, man, you know. And there's still a couple songs with Sabbath after the Ozzy days that I like, but it's never been the same Sabbath, you know. It's just all the songs they put out with Ozzy, they're legendary. Everything Ozzy put out, I mean, there's not a bad song, man. It's amazing how somebody's mind can work like that over the span of 50 years, you know.
Folks, you want to get out and pick up Them Damn Kings' debut album, Rise Up, that comes out in 2021 because of this damn pandemic that we're in. But, Jeff, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, pick this album up, all this good stuff? How can they do that, good sir?
Well, man, I mean, you know, you can start out by supporting us and going to iTunes, and, you know, we've got Throw It Away out right now, and you can go download that on iTunes. You can hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I think TikTok now. You can find us all over, you know, Google search if you're doing that. I mean, Amazon Music, everywhere. You know, we'd really appreciate you picking up this single, man. It's, you know, I appreciate what's going on with Spotify and all that, but you got to understand in the end, we get, you know, for every spin, I think, you know, and it's not just us, it's the Metallica and everybody else. You get like, you know, 1,000th of a tenth of a penny for every spin. So, you know, we'd need the whole world to listen 1,500 times, you know, just to make a couple $100. But, you know, this is how artists make a living, man. And that's through music. And, you know, that's the best way to support. You can head over to our Facebook or our website and grab some T-shirts. And, you know, like me, I always buy hard copies. I don't do the download. Occasionally I will if it's something that's out of print and hard to find. But once the album comes out in 2021, we will have physical CDs, man. You know, there's nothing like ripping and opening that cellophane, man, and taking a whiff of that record. You know, it'll stay with you for life if you've never done that before. Before
I let you go, Jeff, would you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. All right. This is Jeff Rhodes from Them Damn Kings, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Hour podcast. Please get out and check out our Facebook page. It has our podcast link, YouTube link, and all the links that we're associated with. And please support us. Please subscribe to the BODS Mayhem Hour YouTube page. It will help us out tremendously. And you won't miss an interview, too. Trust me. Also, get out and pick up Them Damn Kings' debut album, Rise Up, that's coming out in 2021. Also, check out their debut single, Throw It Away. You will not be disappointed, folks, so give this band a fair shot. And, Jeff, thank you so much for being on the show, and I wish you guys nothing but the best of luck, my friend.
Well, man, thank you so much for having us, and, you know, definitely get out there, take a listen up on YouTube. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I feel like a commercial right now, but listen, man, you know, next time we're out playing a show and we're in your area, come out as our guest, man, have a couple drinks, hang out, and, you know, can't wait to see everybody down the road.
Yes, sir.
You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.